None of what I say here is medical advice. In fact, most of it's not even advice. Here's the only part that's advice. Read the sources in the description. Don't just read the list of sources. Read the actual sources themselves. There. Advice over. The rest is just a review of a cartoon episode. So, good damage. I like the message that sometimes when you set out to create something, it can turn into something completely different, and that's okay. And the message that damage can make us who we are but isn't exactly good. They are great messages, and would be worthy of praise if it weren't for how poorly this episode handled the topic of antidepressants. Normally, I wouldn't hate an episode of a cartoon for getting facts wrong, because no one should be getting their information from a cartoon, but I will hate cartoon episodes for getting facts wrong if teaching is one purpose of the episode, or if that cartoon has a reputation for being accurate or profound. This episode of Bojack Horseman checks both of those boxes. The first issue I notice is the timeline. We don't get direct confirmation of how long Diane has been on antidepressants, but based on what we saw just 3 episodes before this, it seems like it's only been a couple weeks at most, which is typically a fraction of the up to 3 months it can take to tell if an antidepressant works for you. Another issue is whether or not they work at all. Hear me out. I know there have been lots of studies that conclude that antidepressants work, but those studies are usually paid for by the companies that sell antidepressants. When they are studied properly with a control group and no additional benefits other than compensation to being part of the study, like free food and transportation that might influence a subject to say they're depressed or actually help with their depression, it's unclear if antidepressants even work at all, even for the people who say they work. That wouldn't be as bad if it weren't for what antidepressants are confirmed to do. Usually. There are many different antidepressants, and different medications do affect individual people differently, but generally when someone starts taking antidepressants, they can expect weight gain and lowered libido at least. I guess I'll half give them the weight gain part since Diane did gain weight, even though that could just be because of the Chicago-style food. It would be pretty realistic for there to be multiple reasons. Somewhat less likely, but still common enough to cause concern, are headaches, stomach problems, aches and pains, and dry mouth. And there's a whole other list of specific risks of specific antidepressants that I won't get into because I'm depressed and tired, and that's a lot of research, and also we'd be here all day. Other than the possible weight gain, they only show Diane experiencing side effects because she stopped taking the pills all at once. Also, there's how expensive antidepressants, or really any medications, are. I've gone cold turkey like Diane, but not because I forgot or chose to, it's because I couldn't afford my pills. No one in the episode ever mentions the financial cost. There's also a stigma to taking happy pills that I don't wish to contribute to, because even if antidepressants don't work, the people who automatically think you're crazy, or even just that you're in a bad place if you're on them, probably don't actually have your best interest at heart. The stigma is also something the episode straight up never mentions. I'm not saying one of our main characters should harass Diane about taking antidepressants, that would be terrible, but maybe in the face of depression, when Diane is listing her bad reasons for not wanting to take antidepressants, she could say something like, "Everyone who finds out will think I'm crazy," because that's a real concern that real people have, and it's not actually everyone, but it does happen. The stigma felt even worse for me when the pills didn't work, and then I felt like I was crazy, even among other mentally ill people, because everything they said helped them made me feel worse. So I really do hope I'm not contributing to that stigma with this video, but I also think you should be a little afraid of something that has a high likelihood of hurting you. I really wish antidepressants worked the way they do in this episode, but they don't.